She worked tirelessly every day, scraping together every cent to support her boyfriend's education and save for their future marriage. She believed in his promises, sacrificing her health and happiness, convinced that they would build a life together. One day, when she was just a young girl, she had offered a piece of osmanthus cake to a starving man. But her kindness led her into a nightmare. After eating the cake, the man lured her to a secluded corner, stuffed her in a sack, and took her away to be married to his son. When her father returned home, she was gone. Desperate, he searched for years, becoming the richest man in the country, hoping the wealth could help him find his daughter. 10 years passed. The girl had grown into a young woman, unaware of her origins. One day, the wealthy father noticed a street vendor selling osmanthus cakes. He bought one out of curiosity, and to his amazement, it tasted exactly like the cakes he used to make with his daughter, carrying a unique minty aroma. Intrigued, he asked the girl how she learned to add mint. She admitted she couldn't remember. She had been separated from her family at 8 years old and lost many memories after a head injury. Yet, somehow, she instinctively knew that osmanthus cake needed mint. The father's heart raced, sensing she might be his lost daughter. He discreetly assigned his assistant to investigate the girl's background and her adoptive family. To the father's shock, the assistant discovered that the girl's adoptive brother, who had promised to marry her, was secretly engaged with another woman, his first love. The girl, innocent and trusting, had been saving every penny from her cake stall, believing she was preparing for their wedding. Little did she know that her fiancé only saw her as a financial tool. One day, the adoptive brother faced a dilemma. His first love's parents demanded that he buy a house before marrying their daughter, but the amount required, $400,000, was out of reach for a poor student. Desperate, he tricked the girl into taking out a loan, pretending the house was for their future together. She signed the loan agreement on her phone, trusting his words. The loan was approved for $500,000, and without hesitation, he used the money to pay for the house, never intending to marry her. The girl continued to work tirelessly, thinking the house was part of their shared future. But one day, while moving goods for her cake stall, she noticed a wedding poster. The man she believed would marry her was on the poster, engaged to another woman. Shocked and disbelieving, she walked into the wedding venue, only to find her worst fears confirmed. The groom was indeed the man she loved. At first, rage filled her, but when the groom stood on stage and thanked his father and wife for supporting him, she felt a bittersweet pang. For a fleeting moment, she thought he was acknowledging her sacrifices, how she had worked multiple jobs and even donated a kidney to save his life. But her hopes shattered when he proposed to another woman before the crowd, revealing that she was never meant to be the bride. With tears streaming down her face, she stepped forward, saying, "I'm the one you promised to marry." The groom shoved her aside, while the bride, mistaking her for a beggar, threw cash at her, demanding she leave. "You were only ever useful for money," the bride sneered. As she stood there, humiliated, her adoptive father disowned her in front of the crowd, warning her to stay away from his son and daughter-in-law or face serious consequences. The chairman watched the scene unfold in disbelief. His assistant whispered to him, "The DNA results aren't back yet. We can't act without proof." So, they kept their distance, waiting for confirmation that she was indeed the long-lost daughter. In desperation, the girl took out her phone and showed the crowd the loan details, proof of the $500,000 debt she took on for the groom. But instead of sympathy, the bride used it as further evidence that she was there for money alone. "Prove you have nothing to do with her," the bride hissed at the groom. "Beat her and end this once and for all." The groom hesitated, but under the weight of public pressure, he clenched his fists and approached the girl, the very person who had given up everything. For tears welled in her eyes, not from fear, but from the heartbreak of betrayal. She whispered, "I thought you loved me. I thought we had a future." Just as he raised his hand, the chairman's assistant received a message. The DNA results had arrived. The girl was indeed his daughter. "Stop." The chairman's voice boomed through the venue, silencing the crowd. He stepped forward, eyes burning with fury. "You've humiliated the wrong person." The crowd gasped as the chairman revealed the truth. The girl they scorned was not only his daughter but also the one who had supported the groom through every hardship. The groom and his family stood frozen, realizing the gravity of their actions. But it was too late, the chairman had already decided their fate. He pulled the girl into his arms, whispering, "You'll never have to suffer again. You're coming home." As they left the venue together, the groom stared in disbelief, knowing he had lost not only the woman who had given him everything but also the protection of the most powerful man in the country.